Hi guys, welcome back to Best Fashion and Reality. My name is Besem Holt, and on this YouTube channel we do some baking, we do some cooking, and we do some reality talk show. Yes, today as you can see we are doing some reality talk show. We are not doing any cooking, neither are we doing any baking. We are doing some reality talk show. Um, we are going to be talking about our kids. I don't know if I'm going to be putting this as a debate that you guys should drop your comments at the comment section after listening to the video. But then I'm going to give my own thoughts or what I think about it. The topic for today is who is responsible for the waywardness of our children in Europe, quote unquote Germany. Is it the parents or the government? Again, I'll repeat the question. Who is responsible for the waywardness of our children in Europe, quote unquote Germany? Is it the parents or the government? Why I'm making this video today is because I met a friend. Do I say a friend, an acquaintance? Yes. And it has been a while. I haven't seen her really long. I met her in the city, and I was like, "Oh, hi Zid, mom. How are you doing?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine, but I've been through a lot and blah 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 blah." Then she started telling me stories of our daughter that has left the house and that is now with the social workers. I'll call it social here in Germany. That the daughter has gone to children house. We call it children heim, and blah 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 blah. She was like telling me so much, and you could really see that she's not actually happy. She's stressed up, and I was like, oh God, why all this? Well, after our conversation, I was like, but then, and she's like, this government, the government is just supporting everything that children are doing. How can a child how can a child be stubborn and you want to correct the child, and then the child goes and report you to the to the social, or call the police for you, and the social comes, and Jungendamt, we call it Jungendamt, or the youth office, they call it Jungendamt here in Germany, comes and take the child and blah blah blah. And I was just watching at her, and I was like, okay, just let her talk, but don't give your own, don't say anything, because at this point she's pouring all her anger on the government, on the states, but not on herself. She's not seeing herself as a failed mother. I'm sorry to say that. She's not seeing herself as a failed mother. I will say this because she has failed in her duty. She has failed as a parent in her duty, of bringing up her child, because if she didn't fail, that child wouldn't have gone to the government, and the government wouldn't have taken that child to protect that child. Yes, I will say this. Many of us in Europe, we come to Europe, us quote unquote, I'll put it African, but this is what happens every day in the society, in the German society, with the Germans themselves and with us Africans. When we fail in our duty as parents, and the child goes out there and the government takes that child, we start blaming the government. We shouldn't blame the government because we have failed in our duty. Because if we didn't fail, our children will not go out there and report themselves to seek for help out of their house. I'll say this. I had a conversation some days back or some weeks back with a friend. The friend is not in Germany. The friend is in in Belgium, and he was like, my daughter is out of the house, and blah 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 blah, in the course of her blah blah blah, and all sort of, in short, we had a very long discussion, and I was like, yeah, she's out of the house. And yeah, the mom called her police, and I was like, what? Come on, am I getting you? Are you really serious what you're saying? And he said yes. And cut a long story short, the police came, the lady that came, and the lady was like, she has to leave because they had a small fight with she had a small fight with the mom, and the mom had to call her police. It's a long story, it's a long history, but then I'll just cut it short. And when the police came and she was about to leave, and that friend of mine was like asking, but then how you as a woman, if she was he was asking the police woman, how you as a woman is going to accept that your daughter will leave that house. What that policewoman told him was, I'm just doing my job. I'm doing my job. So you don't need to question me. This is what I want to say. The government is there to do their job to protect those children, those our kids that we parents push them out. Yes, we do push them out. How do we do push them out? We push them out with our words. We push them out with our controlling attitude. We push them out with not showing, not having time for them. We push them out with not showing them concern, not giving them listening ears. I'll quote another. I would say another short story that a friend told me. This one, the person is in England, that she has a friend that the son is 16, I think 16 years. He's 16 and now he's in prison. And I was like, what? How comes? How did how did he get there? And he was like, yeah, they had he joined a gang. He joined a gang, and they had to kill somebody beside their house or something like that. As we all know, in England, killing there is almost getting to us. It's getting very normal that they had to kill somebody beside their house, and they were like suspect, and this guy was in that group that were they suspecting them, and so the police came and took him, and out of the investigation, they discovered that. But then what she told me all in all was that this child has been doing very abnormal things that the parents were like, they were surprised. Then I told her, I said, do you know something? You can tell me the parents were surprised that their son at the age of 16 started doing abnormal things, started behaving abnormally. Before the child started behaving the way he is behaving at the age of 16, it means it has started way before 16. Okay. It didn't start when he was 16. He started maybe at the age of 15 or so, or 14, that he joined the gang. I said, before this child go joining that gang, where were their parents? What were they doing? What relationship do they have with that boy? What communication were they having with him before he got to that stage? And she was like, yeah, this child is that type of a child that what she realizes, that guy doesn't go out. The boy doesn't come even in the living room when visitors are there. He's always in his room and blah blah blah. Then I told her, I said, you know something? You are a mother, you have children, your kids are still small. Of course, yes, they are small. But then just imagine your child who is used to watching TV. He comes back from school, the first thing he wants to do is going on and putting on the TV, and you'll be like, hey, you stop watching the TV. Hey, Paul, don't go there. Don't put on the TV now. You have to take dinner first. You have to, from the age of 5 till when he gets to turn 11, 12 to 13, where he's already been a teenager. At the age of teenager, he stops coming to the parlor, to the living room. He stops showing that interest of watching TV. He stops showing that interest of playing with the PlayStation or whatever they call it, Nintendo Switch or whatever. He stops showing that interest. He spends most of his time in the room. You as a mom, you as a dad, what do? You just say, oh, he has changed. He likes sitting in his room. Come on, we parents should open our eyes, open our ears. We have brought these children to the world. We have to be very, 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 very careful with what we are doing. We have to be very, very sensitive with them. They are our kids, but then they are in the Western world. I would say in Africa, when you give birth to a child, anybody can anybody can correct that child on the street. But here in Europe, it's not that way. It's not that way. I can't correct my sister's children, neither Can my sister's children correct? Can my sister correct my own children? Because they will tell her off. They will tell her, "You are not our mom. You are not blah blah blah." But then that is what we are failing as parents in our duty. We are actually failing as parents in our duty. When I met this lady today in the city, and she was talking, you could really see a disappointment in her face. You could really see disappointment upon all what I've been doing for her, upon all what I've been giving her. Come on, do we actually think our children need these earthly things? Do we actually think our children they need these material things? They don't need it. They don't actually need it. Our children they don't need all the games we buy them. They don't need all the toys. They don't need the money you give them. They don't need it. What our children actually need, they need our attention. They need our attention. I was like, I was just thinking this in me, but then I couldn't say it because I could realize she's really, really disappointed. I don't know if she's disappointed in herself or disappointed in her daughter, but then she was pouring all her frustration to the government that the government is responsible for this. How can the government take the child and blah 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 blah. Well, all in all, what I just want to say is we as parents, what we have to do is to learn to communicate with our teenagers. When we have children at the age of 0 to, let me say, 11 years, they are kids. Even at the age of 11, they are no more kids. When a child starts getting to turn, let's learn to have this communication with them. Let's communicate with them. Let's stop giving them orders. Let's stop commanding them. Let's keep our commanding attitude back in Africa. Our commanding attitude is where we can use them in Africa, but here in Europe, we can't use those commanding attitude here in Europe. My advice to us, the parents, to us mothers especially, let's learn to communicate with our children. Let's learn to negotiate with our children. Let's teach our children how to manage their emotions. If we don't communicate with our children, we are missing it. We are missing it big time. What role are we playing in the life of our children? We go about working money up and down. We cash off shifts from left to right. And then these kids go out there and they are being trained by the society. Is that what I'll put it this way, we as Africans want for our kids? Of course, no. We as Africans that are in Europe, are in the diaspora, we want the best for our kids, but then we are losing it because we don't pay attention to these children. We don't give them that attention that they need. You wake up in the morning as a mom, you go to work, you come back, you don't even care. You don't care what your child has done the whole day. You don't find out, you don't go into communication with them, you don't ask them, hey, come on, how was your day today? What happened today? How was school? You know, we don't do all that. My advice to us, the African parents, we are in a society where we don't command children, we don't impose on them. What we do, we have to communicate with them. Go into a communication with them, talk with them one on one, as if you are talking to your husband, as if you are talking to your wife, as if you are talking to a friend. Let's respect their own ideas. Let's respect their decisions. There are times there are decisions that the children might make that don't work well with us. Come on, accept it at that moment. Instead of you going into a legal conversation or a head-to-head argument with that child, let it be. Tell him or her, I've understood you. Okay, we do it this way. Let's sleep one night over it. Let's You go sleep overnight and think about it. I also go and sleep overnight and think over it. And then we come up tomorrow and we'll talk about it, okay? Is that good for you? When we communicate this way with our kids, we are going to see that all these My pikin don't leave house. Government don't take my pikin. Social don't take my pikin. My pikin there for younger army hand. We are not going to be having them. It's because we don't have this one-on-one communication with our kids. We give them all the toys they want. We buy them all the good things. They don't need it. They don't actually need it. They don't need it. What they need us. They need you as a mom. They need you as a dad. They need your attention. They need your communication. They need your they need your morally feelings. So guys, like I said, I just came up here to make this video because I met this friend of mine. Yes, who is so disappointed with the government for taking their child, for taking their daughter. But then, is it the fault of the government? My question is it the government that is responsible for the waywardness of the child, or is the parent that is responsible for the waywardness of the child? Because if you as a parent, you took proper care of your child, you took proper responsibility of your parental duty, that child wouldn't have been taken by the social, wouldn't have been taken by the government, wouldn't have been taken by the Auslander Jugendamt. So all I'm pleading, or all I want to pass here, is that we as parents should be should be should be our royal models to our children, should do our parental duties, and be very, very prayerful. Be very, very prayerful. Commit your children in prayers. Teach your children how to pray. Teach them how to be God fearing. Most importantly, God fearing. Because here in Europe, we don't have all that opportunity where you say children go to church or they learn that in school, in Sunday schools or whatever. We don't have all those ones here. So all I would say is teach your children in the house to be God fearing. Teach them to pray with you always. And let's not fail in our duty as parents to always communicate. Communication is the key to everything. If you don't communicate in your marriage, you can't communicate, the marriage won't work. If you don't communicate with your children will go out there and communicate with the people that are ready to communicate with them, with him or her. So guys, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to drop your comments at the comment section. Tell me what you think about this short story that I've just told you about this lady that the government has taken as child, and she's pouring all her frustration on the state, on the government, or on the social arm, or on the youth arm. So please don't forget to drop your comments there and tell me your take about this topic. And don't forget to do what? Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe to Best Passion and Reality for more videos. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in our next video.